everybody. We've finally made it, and I am excited as a little kid at Christmas time to have this, a marvelous, amazing, fantastic woman who I have known personally. You know what, Sheila? It's been, I think it was around the early 90s that we met.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And that's 90, what is that? 2000, 2010, 2020. Is that 30 years?
Could be.
I can't even add. Anyways, guys, I am excited as all get out, and we had a little trouble with the connection, and now she's here, the one and only, the fabulous, the wonderful Sheila Jordan. Welcome, 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 Sheila.
Well, thank you, Judy. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry we've had so much trouble trying to get this connected, but I'm up on the mountain, so it's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm sure glad you left your number here so I could connect
with you. Me too. Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah. So just let me check and to see where we are on Facebook. Okay. So I can, there we go. Oh no, wrong. There we go.
Oh boy.
Second. Yeah, the tech is always exciting, isn't it?
Frustrating. I don't know about exciting.
So I can see us live.
Okay.
And I just have to go down and, there we go. So, findet gerade statt. Jawohl. Interview with Sheila. Okay, I just want to see who's watching. Okay, one commentar. I can. Oh, findet gerade Hooray, statt. Yeah. Joyce, we made it. I'm just turning down the volume. So, we're ready to ramble, Sheila. So tell me, how's things in upstate New York?
It's very gloomy. It keeps looking like it's going to be another snowstorm, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it was snowing early this morning, but then it stopped.
So you got snow there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love snow, and we don't have any.
Well, come on up. I'll give you some.
Would love to.
Yeah. I hate it.
You hate the snow? Well, I guess it's not.
Well, yeah, because when I try to get out my driveway, and then I have to pay $50 every time the guy plows it, and it's expensive.
Yeah. Well, also, I guess to walk, it's also not too easy for you.
Yeah, I don't walk down. I don't do that. Not at my age. You know, I just turned 92, so.
I know, you are so amazing. Guys, anyone who is listening to this video, to this interview, just take a look at this woman. She is the epitome of youth and everything that belongs to becoming never-ending life, I would say, and still performing.
Oh yeah, it keeps me alive. But now I'm not performing due to the pandemic. But of course, you know.
No, of course.
But this too shall pass.
Sheila, you said something to me a couple of years ago, and as we just found out, it's about 30 years ago. I was in your course in Interlaken.
Oh my God, yes.
Interlaken in Switzerland.
That's right.
And I said to her, this is 30 years ago, guys, and I said, Sheila, do you think maybe I'm too old to go after a jazz career? Yeah. Like I wanted, professional. I was like really hot and wanted to, to really learn. And you said to me, Judy, you're never too old. You get on that horse and you never get off.
Yeah. The older the better, because what is jazz?
That's a good
people who play or sing jazz are playing and singing about their life's experiences. I mean, my experience has been from the time I was first born. I had a rough childhood, terrible childhood, alcoholic background, my mother died from the disease. So I know, it was rough for me, but I hung in there, and I believed in a higher power, and I believed that I would be taken care of, and I just hung in there. But the thing that saved my life was music.
Yeah.
I didn't know what kind of music I wanted to sing. And then when I finally moved from my grandparents, who took care of me until I was 14, because my mother was too young. So when I moved back to Detroit to be with her when I was 14. And I was always singing. I sang at all the PTAs and everything in Pennsylvania, and even on the radio, Uncle Nick's Amateur Hour, and oh my God, you name it.
Well, that sounds similar though to my story. It saved my life too. Like my mother left when I was 14, 5 kids, and I was the oldest. And the only thing, even as a small child, the only thing that really took me out of when I was sad or when I was, wasn't a happy childhood was the music. And I think that is something that many people don't realize how wonderful, how therapeutic singing is, right?
Yeah, singing or just doing this music in general. I always call this music, jazz music, the stepchild of American music, because it's never been accepted. It's never talked about on any of these music programs, these award programs, very seldom, unless they give an award. And then at the end, they might give credits. They might say jazz. Sometimes they don't even do that. So it's never been accepted. And I call it the stepchild of American music. But when in fact, it's the only music that we can really call our own.
Exactly.
Jazz music, and it's not accepted, and it's very upsetting. Even Michelle Obama, which shocked me. I love her. I loved Barack. I loved her. She was a guest recently on one of those programs, those music programs. I forgot which one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And she came on and said, yes, I want to support American music. And she said blues, rap, and folk.
Oh my gosh. And she didn't mention jazz?
Never mentioned jazz.
I think that must have been
Michelle Obama, who I love.
I think that must have been a mistake, because even Barack.
They don't know about jazz, people. They know, but they're afraid of it. I don't know what the problem is. I had one woman say to me one time after a concert, she said, I just love the way you sang tonight, but I guess you have to really have a degree in music to be able to understand what you're doing. But I could feel it. I said, well, that's what it's about, feeling.
Yeah.
I said, let me ask you something or tell you something. I said to her, I want to tell you something. Do you think that the Africans who were brought here to work in the cotton fields all those many years ago, they got through the terrible hours of and terrible work they had to do? How did they get through it? They sang. And what did they sing? They sang the blues, and that's where it started. Jazz music started with the blues. So, but it's never been accepted in this country, and I don't know if it ever will be,
Do you
it's
think?
sad, but I want to keep it alive, and through people like you, Judy, doing what you're doing, we'll keep it alive.
Oh, thank you. I do my best, but there are so many. There are a lot of us, so jazz will never die as long as we're around.
And you have to get another job to support it.
Yes, I remember you telling me back then. You said you were on a job. I think you were in an office until you were 55 years old before you were. I mean, guys, this is so inspiring.
I was in an office until I was 62.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
And then they got rid of the department I worked in and gave me a year's pay and said, I'm sorry, but we're getting rid of the department. And so that little voice said, well, come on, you wanted to go and sing all these many years, so take the money and go sing and shut up.
Exactly.
That's what I did, and that's what I've been doing ever since. But I did start the very first vocal workshop at City College in New York City. Up in Manhattan. I started the first jazz vocal workshop up there many years ago, thanks to John Lewis, who was with Modern Jazz Quartet, but he taught at City College, and also Eddie Summerlin, who was the head of the jazz program up at City College. So they got me up there. And I went up there. They had me come up and do a little concert, which I did. And then afterwards, the opera teacher, the classical teacher, said, "Oh, we need somebody like you here." And John said, "Yeah, you should come up here and teach." I said, "Teach what? I don't have a degree." He said, "You don't, you do. You have a degree in life." He said, "Teach what you do. Teach, teach how you approach a song. That's what you teach. You teach what you do." I said, "Well, okay, I'll try it." And,
well, I can absolutely confirm your wonderful teaching abilities because I was your student.
Yes, you were.
And I remember learning confirmation. Your text that I still perform today. Casting a line to you with a line with rain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right. I'm still using your text and I learned so much from you. And you've always been one of my, well, do you remember I came also to the University of Massachusetts in that summer course too?
Yes, I still do that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, that was an amazing time. There were so many wonderful musicians there.
Well, Billy Taylor and Max Roach got me up there to do that. They had a teacher up there, but she wasn't very nice to the singers, and the singers were paying a lot of money for that 2-week workshop.
Yeah.
And she was calling them turkeys and, putting them down. You can't break a singer's spirit. Any musician, jazz musician's spirit. You don't break their spirit. If you break their spirit, then that's it.
Well,
they won't do it. That's all. They said, why would I want to get yelled at and called names?
No, of course not. Well,
so,
it's the same thing I'd think about learning. Any teacher who's any good is going to inspire and encourage and praise the good. And you don't say, well, that was awful what you did. You just say, well, let's take a look at that and see how we can improve that line there. But you never say, oh, that was awful. Never.
Well, because then their spirit will be broken.
Absolutely. And I think that goes for all teachers.
I mean, I'm out there trying to keep more and more people, singers and instrumentalists involved in this music. I'm not out there to destroy it by putting it down or, no. It's very important. It's a very important music, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing until I die. I mean, I get joy out of this. I started, as I said, the first jazz vocal workshop.
Yeah.
I started in 1978 at City College.
Wow.
1978 was the first jazz vocal workshop.
Wow, exciting.
I believe it might have been all over, all over the U.S. I don't know about Europe, but it might not have even existed before it started, thanks to John Lewis and Eddie Summerlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think don't you agree, or would you agree at all, that we have a different time, a sign of the times now. Now, young people don't have the opportunity like you probably did. Well, I know you did, of going to and meeting all these wonderful musicians and learning from them, like personally, how to sing jazz. You'd go to those sessions and so on. So nowadays, the young people don't have these kind of opportunities to.
Yeah, but they could find clubs to do it. I mean, we had the club up at Mittens uptown, up in Harlem, which I think is still doing it. I think they still have jam sessions, and you could do that. You could talk. I'm sure if you really went about it and dedicated your life to it, you could find a club that would let you present jam sessions involving singers and instrumentalists. I mean, that's what you would do,
Yeah, well, I mean, nowadays, there aren't a lot of clubs that do jazz sessions. There are a couple.
No, not many.
Right, and now, of course.
What do you call it? Spike Wilner.
Yeah.
The Village has a couple of Mesros, his club Mesro, and I think there's another one of his clubs where he promotes jazz. But then
Yeah.
he's a good wonderful piano player, which I didn't know until recently.
Okay.
There are some places.
Yeah. Now they're starting to close Birdland. They're trying to keep together and
Well, I just did a whole
standard.
thing on. I just did a whole benefit. A lot of us did a benefit, like we did a performance to keep Birdland alive. And I think I was told that on the TV station
Mm-hmm.
One New York, NYC, that they used my beginning of my performance to open up their program.
Oh,
And then they
great.
also used it to close it. And they talked about Birdland and, like it needed money.
Yeah.
Birdland should never, ever, ever be,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really, really
always
heartbreaking
be
to see
open.
that.
Yes, that's right.
And we've had a couple of jazz clubs here in Germany also
Uh-huh.
having to close down. Well,
Oh, yeah.
it's a bad time, isn't it, with this COVID
Yeah,
all over the
yeah,
world
it's a
and
bad time, yeah.
lockdown and nobody can perform, like
No,
no performances,
no,
but we have to be positive. Like I've used this time really positively, learning. I remember at that course where you were in Interlaken, do you remember Rufus Reed was there too, and Kenny
yes,
Barron?
yes.
Yeah. Oh, and Rufus really took me through took me through the coals, and he said,
Oh, he will.
"Oh," but I realized afterwards because I cried, I was crying. And he
Oh,
said,
cool.
yeah. He said, I'm only saying to this because I think you're worth it. I think you've got talent. And I said, "Oh, okay, then that's all right."
And
But
you
he,
accepted, right?
yeah. But then he said to me, he said, "You've really got to improve your piano playing." Right.
Uh-huh.
And so now I'm always now during this COVID time, no classes, no
Yeah, yeah.
performances. I've got a couple of online students, but now, this is a wonderful time to practice and
Yeah.
get out new tunes and practice the piano. I was practicing today with just singing Wave and practicing piano with it. So I think there are some positive things about this COVID time,
Oh, yeah.
to reflect and,
Yeah.
what do you really want and where do you want to go? And I don't know if you ever think about that. You probably have had such a wonderful life as a performer. Tell us about that.
Well, no, when I was, my daughter was just a couple of months old, I had gotten a job singing in the village at the Page Three, a club called the Page Three, and I worked with a great piano player, Herbie Nichols.
Mm-hmm.
And most instrumentalists will know who Herbie Nichols was. He was great. And I made $6 a night, but I didn't do it for the money because I had my day job, office typing,
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for an advertising agency during the day, and I would do these 2 nights a week, Monday and Tuesday. And I would just try out new songs, and that's where I learned my repertoire, what songs I wanted to do, and it was incredible. I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it for my
Well, I
spirit.
think anybody who's in their right mind isn't going to become a jazz singer or a jazz musician because of the money. I
Yes,
mean, unless
yes,
you're
you didn't
really,
make any money.
really
Unless later,
lucky. I
I
mean,
mean, now I make money, of course, but
yeah,
I'm talking about way back then, but I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it to keep my spirit together and
yeah,
keep my soul alive. I mean, it was so important to me. This music has been with me since I was 14. I've been singing since I was a little kid. As I said, I grew up in a very, very terrible background. Poor, alcohol, a lot of alcoholism, and very seldom did we have food. We had an outside toilet that we had to
oh my
walk
goodness.
almost a half a block to go to the bathroom. The toilet paper was a Sears and Roebuck catalog. It was rough, but I never thought too much about it. I just took it for what it was. And then when I was 14, I moved back to New York because by this time my mother was old enough to take care of me. And I was, all the time I was in Pennsylvania, of course, as I said, I sang at the PTAs and all of the different kind of things, if they'd have, like programs that I would go on those if I could. So I was always singing. Um, I never took piano. I did a little bit, and then my great aunt was a piano teacher, Aunt Alma, and she was rough. The minute you put your hands on the wrong key, she would take a ruler and smack you
Oh
with
my
it.
gosh.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I had little hands. And I remember I came home from a lesson with her one time, and my grandmother looked at my hands. I don't remember why, but she saw my hands. She said, "Your hands are all black and blue. What happened? Did you fall?"
Oh my gosh.
I said, "No, Aunt Alma hit me with the ruler." She said, "That's it. No more piano." And
Oh
it
my
took me a
goodness.
long time, and it scared me against piano.
Yeah, I can
Every
believe
time I
it.
touched the piano keys, I saw her,
Yeah, well, you connected it to something.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never got to do piano the way I would have liked to. So that's
Well,
gone. But
but
the
but you,
point is that I found this music.
yeah.
I didn't know what kind of music I wanted to sing, and I was 14, and there was a hamburger joint across the street from the high school that I went to in Detroit, Commerce and Cass Tech. And we'd go there for our lunch. And by this time, I'm living with my mother, as I said. So I saw this one song on there, Charlie Parker and his Reboppers, not beboppers, Reboppers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Now's the Time. And I said, oh, that looks interesting. I was still looking for music to sing. I didn't know what kind of music I wanted to get into. Man, 5 notes, 4 or 5 notes. It was birds, that was it. And I said, I'll dedicate my life to that music, whether I sing it, whether I teach it, whether I just go out and support it. It's the music that has touched my soul. And I've done it ever since. And that's how it started for me.
Well, I think, when I think about it, the people who are really, really dedicated to jazz, like myself, when I met Dizzy Gillespie way back in 1986 at the Year of Peace at this concert that I was able to organize with our city, and I heard the first chorus of Con Alma. Like I wasn't into jazz yet. I was searching. I was, finding, well, I was doing socially engaged folk songs, right? Against war. I've always been a very socially engaged person, politically minded person. And we invited Dizzy to come over for that benefits concert. He came over. He didn't want a penny for that concert, Sheila.
Yeah, well, that was Dizzy.
That was Dizzy. Yeah, he was amazing, and that's we just we just took together. It was just amazing. Like we stayed friends till his death. But what I wanted to say is, when I heard the first chords of Con Alma, Mike Longo was on piano, and I thought, oh my God, that's it. Ah, I can't. This is my music. This is it.
Yeah.
And the next week I went off to the university and I hear where you're going to learn how to do jazz here at the university. And I got hooked up with the university and never looked back. And I think it's this passion, it's this love for this kind of music that nobody can take from you as long as you live, this love for this music. And okay, there are a lot of people who don't groove with jazz, but it gives people like yourself and myself and many, many others, it gives them almost a reason to live. It gives them an impetus to keep on going through difficult times and gives you it gives you what would you call it? The backbone of staying with it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I think that once you fall in love, and I think this is important for jazz singers too. Like I'm as a teacher, I want to find out what you think about that. As a teacher, people want to become a jazz singers, but not always for the right reasons. They think maybe they're going to, make a side gig and earn all kinds of money on the
Yeah,
side, or
they're not dedicated.
they're not dedicated.
No,
And
not at all.
yeah, and you know what? You don't become a jazz singer, a really good jazz singer. It takes time to flavor
Well,
your
also, I
style.
have to say also, what some of the things that happen is when students come to me, I know, and they're singing a song, and it's not the way it was originally written. They've
Yeah,
not learned it from the actual original music. They've learned it from another singer,
yeah,
a recording of a singer. And I say, how did you learn this tune? Where'd you learn this tune? And they tell me, I said, well, that's not the way the tune goes. Learning the original melodies of tunes that you want to sing or play are the stepping stones to improvisation. And that's my little phrase that I use all the time. These
yeah,
are the stepping stones. You've got to learn what was there originally, note for note.
yeah,
Learn it note for note. Sing it note for note.
yeah,
And then you will be able to hear. Then you will be able to take the tune, get the chord changes, find a guideline, and slowly, with precaution, but with passion and love, improvise, but very slowly. Don't try to fill up the whole thing. Leave some space. Do it with love and listen. People
yeah.
don't listen. They don't.
Well, they
They don't
probably
listen.
also don't listen to jazz music a lot enough,
Yeah,
right? They don't know
yeah,
the masters. You've got to listen to the
yeah. But
masters,
they
right?
don't listen when they learn a tune. They don't learn it the way it was originally written. Then they don't learn how to sing guide tones on it, which are the essence, as I said, the stepping stones to
Yeah,
improvisation.
yeah,
So they don't do that. That's what's happening. They don't.
yeah.
They're too lazy. They don't want to take the time.
I don't,
And
I
they
think,
need anything right away, right away, right away. Oh, come on, give me a break.
well, I think a lot of people aren't even aware of it because I remember learning this from you and
Yes,
also from our wonderful 2 weeks in Massachusetts.
yes,
That they always put so much importance on singing the melody as it is written. And of course, I've given that also further
oh
to
yeah,
my
that's
students.
yeah.
But you know what? I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
A lot of students think that they can learn improvisation without really knowing how to sing the tune. Like they don't know how to sing even. Like
No,
they can't even I think I personally believe that as a teacher that when I'm teaching somebody, the improvisation comes after they've once learned the
that's right.
song, the way
That's
it's
exactly
written,
right.
and the way meeting the right notes and getting that intonation in that song before they can even think about improvisation. And sometimes I see colleagues saying, "Oh, come on here, I'm going to teach you improvisation," and I think, well, isn't that a little bit too early for the improvisation? Because
Yes,
people
yes.
think improvisation is cool,
Yeah,
and you know
yeah,
the
but you better learn. You better learn the tune first, and learn the chord changes, and listen and hear them before you even attempt to change it. And
yeah,
don't change it because I think I'll change it. Do it because you feel it.
yeah,
You don't do it because
yeah.
I'm
It
going to change this around.
Yeah, well, they want to
That's
be
not
cool. They
jazz.
want to be sound like some kind of a great jazz singer. Well, I have to change this around. If I don't, I won't be seen as being able to sing as a jazz singer. So
Yeah,
it's another thing I remember learning from you is, to really to be authentic and to be
yes,
honest and
absolutely.
right? I
Yes,
think that's the thing about being a jazz musician has to do with authenticity and honesty
yes,
and being true to yourself,
absolutely.
not trying to impress others to show
And
how
also know that you might have to get another job to support it. In other words, you
exactly.
support the music till it can support you. If you love it that much, then you support it until it can support you, and it might never support you. But
Yeah.
who thought about that? I didn't care about that.
Well, I mean,
Now it
neither.
supports me.
Me neither. Me neither.
Now it supports me, but
Yeah.
at
Well,
the
now you're world
time,
famous. I mean, it's
well,
absolutely.
I don't know about that, but I know
Oh,
that
sure you are.
I'm getting more gigs and I have more workshops and stuff like that, so I'm able to make a living at it. But way back then, I mean, if I was thinking of, oh, well, I got to pay my rent, so, but I wouldn't make it from singing jazz music.
Did you sing any other types of music to make
No,
money?
oh God, no, no,
Like that's
no,
something I wouldn't do either. Like a
never.
lot of my colleagues,
I'm
they're
not
doing.
putting it down. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting it down, Judy, but I don't feel it. It doesn't touch my heart.
Well,
I
I
can
know.
hear somebody else sing and play it, and that's another story. But for myself, it's not part of my
Yeah.
heart and my soul. It's not part
Well,
of.
I think I would be untrue to myself. Like I
Yes,
know you can make all kinds of money with galas and what other kind of pop and
yeah,
this. And I mean, it's even hard enough having to do sometimes corporate jobs, which I don't hardly do either. Um, just for the money. But your
hmm,
heart, what happens to your heart when you have to do those kind of jobs? And the musicians that do that their whole life long of just, doing music because they have to earn money. I don't, what's the right word in English? Because I think in German.
oh yes, of course.
Yeah, I don't feel, I feel kind of sorry for them that they'd have to do that because if you're doing something that your heart isn't in and you just have to do it because you have to earn the money, then I would prefer to have an office job or have any other kind of
But I
job.
did. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of
Music sacred. Music is sacred. This music is sacred.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
think also, even some people they teach. Well, they say, well, if I can't make it as a jazz singer or a jazz musician, then I'll teach it. Well, I love to teach it. It's part of my passion.
I
It's
can
just
say yes.
right. Like it's
Keeping on the
something
line because you know that there's young people out there, and maybe if you get 1 in 100 that
exactly.
that
That's
they
what I.
really want to dedicate their life to jazz, that's great.
Yeah. I mean,
It
you're
won't
not.
take a lot, but I
You're not.
think that any students that you teach, even if they decide that they don't want to do the music or it's not for them, it will enhance whatever music they decide to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they might say, well, I love singing, but I don't know that I want to sing jazz. But they'll take courses. And from those courses, they'll learn, whether they realize it or not, how to listen and how to hear chord changes and improvise. They'll hear that. It might not be something that they carry on in their music for the rest of their lives, but it will only, I swear to God, it will enhance, you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
absolutely. You can hear it. You can hear it in the singers that do it, that have it, like
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
She's a good example. She doesn't sing jazz, but you can tell that she has listened to it at some point. I think. Now, that's my feeling.
Yeah, I think so.
I
I
could
think
be
she
dead
said.
ass wrong, but I get the feeling, man, she was around. Yes, at
Well,
one
she
point.
did do that CD with Tony Bennett, that jazz CD.
Oh, well, Tony Bennett's not one of my favorite singers. I never thought of him as a jazz singer.
Well, they did
Mark
some
Murphy,
jazz
yes.
tunes with each other. I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to
Mark
call it.
Murphy, yes. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
Marion Cowings, yes. A lot
yeah,
of underrated singers.
yeah.
There's a lot of wonderful male singers out there, young, coming up, or even older, who haven't had a chance.
Hmm.
But I mean, not to put Tony Bennett down. I mean, he's very successful, but I never really thought of him as a jazz singer.
No, really. Well, actually, he isn't
Not for me. I mean, everybody's different. Other people might say, "Oh yeah, he is,"
well,
but
there's
for
a
me,
lot
he's
of
not.
there's some singers of that category that they sang more maybe jazz oriented tunes, but
Mm-hmm.
they weren't necessarily jazz they weren't real
That's
jazz
right.
musicians
That's
or
right.
anything like
That's
that.
right. You're
So
absolutely
I don't
right.
want to keep you too long because
Okay, honey.
you weren't haven't been feeling too well.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too hot.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna go back to bed and have a
I
nice
am.
tea, yes?
I am.
Well, I've been
I'm
doing
gonna.
that for 3 weeks. I had an operation on my knee on the 4th of January,
Oh
and
my God! What happened to your knee?
well, I had a problem with the meniscus. It sort of, I don't
Oh,
know what you call this in English. I got it out. I got it out.
yeah, they
It,
took
it
it out. They
I
removed it.
a disc. What do you call that? A moved disc or something. Anyways, it Rutschen. It slid out, and so I
Oh,
had to get an operation. And I've been 3 weeks, well, 2 weeks. I was more or less, not able to do much, and I'm on crutches. And tomorrow I have my first physiotherapy, so I'm
where are
feeling
you
much
living
better.
now?
Pardon?
Where are you living now? Where are you?
I am still in Duisburg,
Okay.
Duisburg, Germany, which is just north of Cologne.
Yeah.
And I thought I remember seeing you here in Germany with
Yeah.
oh, what was her name? That you
Sabine?
Sabina, yeah. And
Yeah, I do tours with her still.
yeah, well, maybe you do one with me too. Wouldn't that be great?
Anytime, get in touch. You got
Really?
to.
Oh, I'd love to.
Come on, of course.
Okay, well, I didn't want to
That's
be
my Julia.
copycatting or anything, but
No,
you're my
I love it. It
teacher.
would be wonderful. Please.
Yeah, I would love
Write
it.
me, right? You got all my information, right?
Yeah, I do.
Phone
I do.
numbers, addresses, everything. If not, I'll send them to you. But just
Sure, I
let me
will.
know. Oh,
Well,
no. I love that.
I'm,
I would love to do that.
I'm
Nothing gives me
planning.
more pleasure.
Oh, that is so exciting because I thought, well,
Yeah,
I can't do
I'd
that,
love
I
to.
don't, it would be sort of, Anyways, I'm planning a tribute to Dizzy Gillespie as soon as this COVID is over because I have,
Oh,
I
nice.
don't know if you remember, I wrote this to you once. I have a tribute to Dizzy Gillespie with Kenny Barron on it and Rufus Reid. I think I'm going to send that to you.
Send it to me. Send it to the P.O. box address.
I'm going to write to you about that, where that is.
Okay, I'll send you that the address.
Okay,
in
it's
an
only going to
email.
be a copy because I don't have any
I don't
originals.
care. I don't care.
It's no
It doesn't
originals
matter.
anymore. I'm
It
going to,
doesn't matter. It
as soon
doesn't
as I
matter.
do as I
I
get
would
this
love it.
tour together, I'm thinking of, well, I've got all the arrangements from the album, and I did all the compositions of Dizzy, and I wrote some of the lyrics to his tunes
Oh,
too.
that's nice. Wonderful.
Yeah, well, I had to get, of course, legal, his wife liked
Oh,
me.
yes.
She was in charge of everything, so I got in touch with
Yeah,
their
she always
lawyer.
was. She took charge of
Yeah,
the
Lorraine.
stuff.
Lorraine was a
I
really,
mean, since he's been married, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. So
But
anyways, yeah,
but
that would be,
it was always amazing about Dizzy is that all the cats in that bebop school, Bird, unfortunately, a lot of them, even my ex-husband, late husband, Duke Jordan, they all became heroin addicts at one point.
yeah,
I mean, they thought, I guess they could play like Bird or whatever, or maybe that,
yeah.
you know.
I
But
think,
Dizzy never I never knew of Dizzy taking hard drugs or,
well, you know that he's a member of the Baha'i Faith.
oh, I know that, but I'm talking about way before when
Oh,
I
way
was like
before. Okay,
a
before.
teenager and heard did,
Yeah.
you know.
No, he was a pretty clean living guy. I think he had a little, maybe a little marijuana,
Oh yeah, but nothing heavy.
none of the
Did
hard
you
stuff.
ever know a singer by the name of Pancho Haygood?
No.
She sang with Dizzy, early Dizzy's band.
Oh, really?
Pancho Haygood, or his name was Kenneth Haygood. From
How do you
Detroit.
spell the last name? Haygood?
Haygood.
Hay, like
H-E-R-R-D. Yeah, Kenneth Haygood.
H-E-R.
No, Hagood. Haygood.
Oh, okay, great. I'm gonna look him up.
Something like that. But look up Dizzy because Dizzy used him as a singer years ago when he first started doing his own thing with his own band. That's Dizzy. He hired Pancho, and Pancho was from Detroit. And his
Wow.
name was Kenneth, but his nickname was Pancho.
Okay, I'm going to check him
Wonderful
out.
singer. He did that tune, I Waited for You. I don't know if Dizzy was, I think Dizzy might have been part owner, part composer of I Waited for You.
Okay, I don't know
It's a
that.
beautiful ballad, yes.
Okay,
Okay, check him out. See if you can
I,
find him.
I waited for you.
Pancho Haygood.
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's been just absolutely, absolutely amazing checking out and being with you again after all
Oh,
these
thank you.
years. I mean, we did see each other. We did speak to each other shortly
Yes.
when you were in Germany.
Yes,
But
of
it's
course.
just amazing to have you here in an interview.
Thank you, dear.
And
My joy.
I wish you all the very best to get
Thank you,
through
and
the
I wish you the
snow
best.
and stay healthy.
Oh,
Stay
yes.
healthy.
Gotta do that, baby.
Okay, and I'm gonna really take this in my hands and see what we can do as a
Yes, I'd love to do some things with you. I would think we would have a wonderful time.
Oh, I'm sure we would. I'm sure we would.
I'm up for it, okay?
Okay, great.
All right, thank you so much, Judy, for having me.
You're so welcome. And I just wanted to look here at our comments here. Who else? Oh, Joyce says Birdland has raised over $400,000 so far.
Good.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
And Joyce also said teachers have to be supportive, otherwise they should seek other employment. Absolutely.
That's correct.
And who else have we got on here? Gabi Lesha is on here. Hello, Gabi. And Nicole is on here. Hello, Nicole. Nice of you to come by. And Gudrun is also on here. And Raymond Gambardella. Hello, Raymond. So just wanted to greet our audience.
There you go.
Okay. Sheila, I love you. I
love you back.
And I'm going to give you a big hug.
Me too.
We're going to stay in touch, okay?
Yes, please do.
All righty.
All right, honey. Thank you for keeping the music alive.
Absolutely. Thank you for keeping it going until almost a year. We say that in German. A whole 100 years, probably. Great.
Thank you.
God be with you. God bless you, and stay healthy. And we'll talk soon.
And I wish you love and happiness and much music ahead, Judy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Love and kisses.
Thank you. You're always in the back of my mind when I think, oh, should I continue this? You get on that horse and you don't get off.
You better not get off. All righty, I'll see you, honey. Bye-bye, sweetie. I love you.
Take care. I love you too. Bye.
Bye, Judy.